Good morning, everyone. How's it going? So it has been a week of Trials of the Ancestor. Hope you guys have been having fun, particularly after the buff of the trial itself. It feels really good. I was doing it yesterday. I was averaging 15 or 20 chaos on rewards, like at least every other trial or so, and I got a full divine from it. So, and I'm only kind of low ranked. I'm excited to do that more today on stream. What I wanted to do today is just talk about the build. A lot of people have been asking, what's the latest status? What's the update? I just want to show you guys what this looks like for me a week in. Just for reference, I actually didn't play that much this past week. I have tendonitis in my elbow from playing way too much Path of Exile. Kind of took 2 days off in the past week. So for me, this represents 4-ish days of playing. I'm just recording this on Friday morning. So this is about 4 days of playing. So just take that into reference. I'm going to go through all of the gear. I'm going to go through all of the choices that I've made, or as many as that I can. This is not a final update, but this is kind of, for me, 4-ish days into the league. Yeah, I'll talk about all the tattoos and everything. A lot of the tattoos are just quality of life stuff. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that can be like super optimized, but it feels really, really good right now. I feel sufficiently defensive and sufficiently offensive. Try to use as few superlatives and exaggerated speech as I can to set expectations properly, but the build to me feels exceptionally good. I am very happy with how it's performing. I'm even doing boss carries on stream right now. I'm doing it very, very cheap for people that just need to complete their void stones and all that. And yeah, I did some Maven carries yesterday and everything. Non-Uber, it performs great. So yeah, let's just go into a Minotaur map right here. We'll do it even Maven witnessed, and you can see what it looks like. Basic playstyle, if you haven't played the build, if you're not familiar with it, is we are primarily using Frostblink. And we use Frostblink most of the time until we have a 6th link. I only recommend adding Vortex once you have a 6th link. This was a recommendation that I made for people that found the Frostblink alone playstyle. Like, I get it. It's not a playstyle that clicks with everyone. You do have to be conscious about when you press the button, but it does great damage. It does great clear. And in fact, I'll show you guys a couple packs without Vortex. This is just on a 5 link right now. So this is, you just shield charge around and you Frostblink in, and your Frostblink will even kill rares. And with Ignite Proliferation, it just feels really, really good. Great, we got an Expedition. That's great to show off as well. So yeah, and you can see that the Ignite Proliferation leaves the pools on the ground. It's going to clear the monsters really, really well. We have great life regen. We have, capped res. We have decent spell suppression and all that. So I have I have 80% spell suppression with Lucky. So mathematically, that's like 97% or something. And it's actually more than that with the Quartz Flask up. And yeah, we got good life regen. We want to periodically be pressing our Malevolence Divine Blessing. That gives us a lot more damage and duration. I can kind of just stay here and kind of sustain through a lot of stuff without having to move or worry about dying or anything. So that's just what the playstyle is on a 5 link. And the thing is that, what people kind of were annoyed by, or you have to be very conscious of your cooldowns. And a lot of Path of Exile is just, press one button, blow up the whole screen, and not even pay attention to cooldowns at all. Putting Vortex as a 6 link here for a double 5 link. This allows us to put Vortex on our left click, and now we have 2 different skills that are able to do the Ignite Proliferation, and Vortex hits a little bit harder than Frostblink, like 10% more damage. We don't even care about the cooldown as much. We're just kind of holding left click and Frostblinking periodically. And then we can just shield charge through the packs of monsters. And yeah, this is about as brain. It's like borderline an auto bomber at this point. And yeah, then you don't even think about when you're even pressing Frostblink. So anyway, that is one of the big modifications that feels really, really good, but you don't really want to grab that until 6th link. Oh, the big boom. I thought I wasn't going to like it because it makes your, expedition min-maxing worse. I think there's immune to fire right here. But you can, and you actually don't have to worry about breaking it too much because it gives you a lot of placement area. So as long as we do this, we don't have the Ignite. I actually really, really like it because normally I would skip Gwenin and Rog because, yeah, you can get a logbook, but spending the extra time. But now it's a 1 button. And yeah, they come out. I have them with 30% life when they come out. I can press Infernal Cry, and it blows up half the screen right away. And then with our Ignite Proliferation, we can actually just walk through and kill all these monsters really, really quickly. Like, this is an exceptional logbook farmer. And yeah, I've been really enjoying that. That's been a good percentage of my currency this league. So yeah, let's get to the rest of the map here. Yeah, I think this playstyle with the Vortex added, you can't really I don't know. I think it just feels pretty darn good. You know, nothing feels like a bow build, of course, but the only problem, and this is all dot builds, is you have to go back and pick up loot once in a while because they're going to die from the ignite behind you. But yeah, you can see the Vortex and the Frostblink here. They kill rares and everything totally fine. And then we can throw our Fire Trap. We actually, like, I don't usually cast my curses. We only put our curses on hard monsters like essences like that. And yeah, there's a playstyle. And as you can see, it's like pretty defensive. I have all my flasks set up to be automatic. And this is a Maven Witness Minotaur. Hopefully I don't mess it up. And we have really good physical mitigation. I'm crit immune, and we have good phys mitigation. I'm crit immune from, I have 10 of these for 100% reduced extra damage from critical strikes. And with Vortex and Chaos Golem, I have 45% flat physical damage reduction, which is, you know, that's more than any armor that this character is going to get. And if you really want to, you can go into armor as well with determination behind that for incredible physical damage mitigation. But I'm running haste because I think haste is fun. And that's why I'm doing that. All right, anyway, so there is the gaming demonstration right there. Hopefully it looked pretty fun and, you know, gives you a good idea of if you would like this build. I really like the playstyle, and that's why I played it so much in the past couple weeks. The gear and the choices. Let's start off with that. For reference, you know, prices and everything, I'll tell you roughly what I spent. It's all going to be, you know, not everything is perfectly min-maxed. I bought certain things at prices that might be better or worse than they are for you right now, but I'll just show you the progression of what I got. So we'll start off with the helmet. Yeah, so the best enchant here is Fire Trap Burning Damage because it works for both the Ignite and the Burning Ground effect, and it's 60%, whereas the second best one would be Fire Trap Damage, which is 40%. The Fire Trap Damage works for on hit as well, but, you know, we're not playing on hit. I bought this for, I think, about 100 Chaos. You know, I think the price might have gone up. The problem is this helmet does, unfortunately, conflict. Yeah, it's up to 2.4 divine, so I got 100 chaos. But you can get the 40% fire trap damage, which is, you know, only a little bit worse for significantly less. It's because we also are competing with righteous fire people, so we have to worry about that. The weapon, I bought this. It is just a bad tier 2 fracture of dot multi. I bought this for roughly 100 chaos as well. I hit it with a couple scorch fossils. I hit something pretty good. It's not exceptional at all. Because of Shaper Flames, any flat damage to spells is useful. So lightning is still pretty good for us. Fire would be better because it scales better for us, but lightning is totally fine. And then, yeah, I hit some fire dot multi, some increased fire damage. This is pretty close to the value that we would get over a you know, multi-modded righteous fire setup with the +1 fire and, you know, multi-modded. We really like this because, remember, we are using our cold skills here for clear. And so I'm not highly prioritizing specifically fire gems, because right now I am at, you know, 6.5 million dot DPS on my fire trap, which is very, very comfortable. And by investing entirely into, and as you saw, right, I don't throw that many fire traps. It's only on, you know, rares and the map boss. By investing entirely into just level of fire gems, yeah, my single target is better, but I really want to balance it so my clear is better as well. So I'm very happy with this. Total cost for me here was 100 to 150 chaos, and it's good enough, you know, for all non-Uber content that I need to do. My shield here, this is just tier 2 fracture on a shield. Was not expensive at all. I think I got it for about 50 chaos. Hit it with some essences of envy. Big fan of essences. I've been farming them myself. So most of the essences that I've spent crafting this gear was all self-farmed. I've bought almost no essences at all, like maybe 10 or so, just to round out some of my crafting. Essences of envy until I hit tier 2 of a res, and then I just crafted life, and that's what I ended up with. So really, really nice shield here. Again, the base is very cheap. You can get good spell suppression fractures on shields. Very, very cheap right now. If we just go to the trade site again, if you're starting the league late, honestly, you're in a really good place because everything, all the spell suppression fractures and everything are incredibly cheap right now. And then we'll even say implicit spell suppression 5%, right? Because you get that 2% free on a good base. So yeah, I guess the price is 1 divine right now, but if you look for a deal, you can probably find one cheaper. I snagged mine for much cheaper a few days ago, but again, you know, the price varies greatly. You know, you can probably drop this a little bit and the price goes down quite a bit. Yeah, there you go. If you drop it from 19 to 18%, 1 divine goes to 10 chaos. So there you go. Buy that one and be happy. So all you have to do is drop the spell suppression by 1 or 2%. And again, because we're not capping, we're using lucky. it makes very, very little difference in the end actual mathematical calculation. It doesn't actually contribute. Anyway, you guys know how to think critically. You know what I'm talking about. That's the shield. Very, very simple. It's giving me no damage, like nice solid defense. Later on, the direction that I would go is, a body armor that has spell suppression on it. And then I can replace the shield with a pure energy shield that gives me +1 fire or cold gems, as well as spell crit, which is really good for keeping our elemental overload uptime. Then my rings, these were pretty cheap fractures that I either found on the ground or bought myself. I'm using an unset ring here with fractured dexterity because I need more gem sockets, and dexterity actually becomes really tricky on this build, entirely because I'm running haste, actually. Hey, if you're not running haste, your dex requirement goes way, way down. I think it's only like 100 dex. I have a 155 dex requirement because I want to run a high-level haste and go really, really fast. But if you drop that, you can drop way, way more dex. That's just a personal choice that I made. And then just this amethyst ring that I found on the ground. Crafted this with Essence of Delirium for damage over time multi. And yeah, hit something pretty good with it. Just use 1 or 2 essences. And I'm using that. Gloves, exactly the same as I showed in the build guide. Bought a tier 2 fracture. Essence of Envy until hit lightning res. Then early league, I bought a wild bristle matron, which was very cheap. I think I bought it for 40 chaos early league. I'm sure the price will go up. If you don't know, Wild Bristle Matron, oh my god, it's exactly the same price. I guess it's 1 divine, which is still cheaper than 2 divines. But what they do is if you have full suffixes, you use the Wild Bristle Matron in the Beastcraft. It'll guarantee give you suffixes can't be changed. Then I use a Veiled Chaos Orb. I unveiled Chill Immunity, which is great. Chill Immunity is the perfect one. That's what we got. But you can also get Onslaught on kill or 42% movement speed, which are also great choices. You're guaranteed to get movement speed, though. And then we got a Faster Ignites, and we got Scorched Ground. Really happy with these boots. The gloves, same idea is, I actually got these gloves on like day 2 for 10 chaos, I think. It's super, super cheap here. I even wrote it down. Fractured gloves, 10 chaos. Yep. So these are the same gloves I've been wearing since day 2 of the league. Fire exposure, fire dot multi. I hit it with how many Essences of Delirium? Guess I got lucky. I used 1. I hit tier 5 cold res and tier 2 life. Then I just crafted socketed AoE gems. To make the bigger boy version, buy a higher tier fracture. Ideally, you want an evasion ES base just to get a little bit more ES. ES does become a little bit uncomfortable only because of the tattoos. Tattoos, we lose a lot of attributes because of the tattoos. So I used 1 Essence of Delirium here. Hit cold res, tier 2 max life, moderately lucky. Craft your socketed AoE gems and you're good to go. Later on, tier 1 spell suppression, higher tier res. And then you want to do suffixes can't be changed, aka Wild Bristle Matron. I should have bought them all when they were cheap. Veiled Chaos Orb, and then try to unveil +2 level of socketed AoE gems. Would give me significantly more damage. Remember, I'm on a pseudo 5 link for my fire trap. My fire trap's not in the 6 link right now. It's just in the pseudo 5 link, and I'm at 6.4 million DPS. And if I just get 1 more level, if I just get that +1 level in my gloves, it goes to 7.3 million DPS. I get 1 million more DPS just from that. We're at the point now where every little thing in the build will scale it to a crazy level. With moderately more investment, we can hit some really, really good damage. For example, if we get +1 on the gloves, we get +1 on the amulet, we get +1 on the shield, and we get +1 on the weapon. So obviously, that's not super cheap, but they're all iterative things that you can work towards. That gives us to 10.7 million DPS just by doing that. Little things that we can work towards. And then when you're at 10.7 million DPS, Ubers will be not fast, but they'll be pretty comfortable. And then finally is the lightning coil. You can just get a 5-link lightning coil for very, very cheap. You can make it yourself. 5-linking is incredibly easy right now. So until yesterday, I was on a regular uncorrupted 5-link lightning coil, but we wanted to go for a 6-link. I bought this base for very cheap. It's just, it's like quality of life double corrupt. There's nothing crazy on it. What I did is I 6-socketed it and 4-linked it. And then I used Tainted Fusings, which have a 50-50 chance. Theoretically, didn't feel like it for me, but they have a 50-50 chance of going up or down. And I failed 9 in a row. I was buying these for 80 chaos 2 days ago. So luckily the price is going down a little bit. But yeah, for 80 chaos, I failed 9 in a row. So that felt really, really bad. And you can clear on just a 5-link, without the vortex, and you're really, really comfortable. So this is a good quality of life body armor, but it's not crazy. Ideally, it would be +1 socketed gems and +2 socketed AoE gems for +3 level on both of our Frostblink and our Vortex, which would feel incredibly, incredibly good. That's a that's a very special white whale of a body armor. And then finally, the amulet right here. I snagged this for 9 divines a few days ago, not crafted, just the fractured base. And the reason why I did that is this is a base that I can use on basically any build moving forward, any spell build that I want this moving forward. What this actually contributes to the build is less than what the price says. You can buy a fractured +1 all fire Jams amulet for 2 to 3 divines right now. So you can buy all fire or all cold based on if you want to go for clear or single target. It's not quite as good because this is helping my skitter bots and everything, but you know, +1 fire is going to be pretty close to as good. And then what I did is I crafted this with Essence of Anger for the fire damage until I hit dot multi, and then I just crafted life. Even better would be +1/+1, something like that. Again, I bought this base for 9 divines because it's a good future proofing for using it on any build in the future, but you don't have to buy this. This was my biggest expenditure on the build. The belt was really fun. I just crafted this with random resist essences, fire or cold, and I hit all of the other stuff on this, the energy shield, the armor, and the flask effect duration. With T1 flask effect duration, I figured I would lean into it. And so what I did is I actually rolled duration on all of my flasks. So my flasks last really, really long. My Quicksilver flask is usually 5.6 seconds, but look at how long that lasts. It's still going. Like getting an additional 30% duration on top of the base duration that you have on there, it's really noticeable. It gives me incredible flask uptime on this build, and it feels great. I'm actually really, really liking that. And then the sulfur flask is just, it's always up. It's lasting like 15 seconds or something crazy like that. And then I just have a stat jewel right here. Cheap little stat jewel. That is my full setup. Then we are using Vitality, Haste, Tempest Shield, Skitterbots. I'm using Haste because I think it's fun. Again, I feel very, very defensively strong. I feel great. And for me, it just feels really, really good. And that's my preference. Run whatever you prefer. And then, yeah, I'll go over the tattoos really quickly. I am purposely not using a cluster jewel right now. They're actually a little annoying to fit in because of the tattoos. I want to use so many tattoos. And again, like attributes become very tricky with all of them. But the quality of life that we get from these is, I don't even know if I'll ever use a cluster jewel on this build. Like there's definitely a setup where cluster jewels push it to the next level for sure, but it's kind of fun not using one at all. What I'm doing here is I'm using a lot of the Honored Tattoo of the Tuataras for +4 all attributes. What that does is, right, I'm losing 10 strength here, but I'm gaining 4 of strength, dex, and intelligence, which smooths it out. You know, I'm getting 12 to total attributes, effectively getting more value, a little bit more value, as long as I don't need just strength right there. So I have a good number of these. I am using 10 of the Rongo Karai Turtle, which gives me 100% reduced extra damage from crits, which makes me, as far as I know, I don't know if there's any way for you to take increased extra damage from crits. So I believe this makes me effectively crit immune. So even if I roll crazy crit mods on a map or anything like that, I am fully crit immune, assuming I'm not missing anything in any calculations. That's most of my tattoos, right? That's 10 of them. And then I have a bunch of the Tuataras. I have a loyal tattoo of Mata, which when the summon comes out, when I hit low life, you know, when I hit 50% life, the summon comes out with an 80% cooldown and it fully fills my flask back up. You get like 3 or 6 flask charges every few seconds. So my flask charge up really, really quickly. Funny enough, because I'm sacrificing so much intelligence, this is kind of like a weird balance. I did this morning, actually. Because I'm sacrificing so much intelligence for the critical strike tattoos right here, I actually have kind of bad energy shield, even for my gear. And my energy shield recharge actually feels kind of bad by, you know, with Vortex on left click. I actually end up using my energy shield quite a bit, you know, particularly when I use my Divine Blessing. This was sacrificing more intelligence, but in the end, it actually worked out. Is I'm stacking, how many of these am I stacking? I'm stacking 4 of the Hinekora Warriors for 40% increased energy shield recharge rate. So I believe I was at about 130 before these tattoos, and now I'm at 187. And so that made a huge difference for sustaining my energy shield while I was mapping. Now, this isn't a problem when you don't have Vortex on left click. You don't have to worry about that whatsoever. But once Vortex is on left click, this is costing a ton of mana. And I actually changed my craft here. I used to have the increased damage craft, but I changed this to non-channeling skills. And this made my energy shield recharge plenty. Now I sustain it totally fine. And my energy shield, even if I'm spamming, by the time my Malevolence aura is up, I still have plenty of energy shield. So, and this helps a lot on maps that have reduced recovery rate or anything like that. So I actually squeeze these couple in, and then I'm using 2 of +2 spell suppression right here. If I had just enough dexterity, I would grab a third one. But yeah, I'm at 80% spell suppression. All right, and then in terms of the small jewels, just damage over time, max life, faster ailments. I actually really like the damage recoup as well. So you don't need these Hinekora Warrior tattoos. You could instead stack the 2% damage recoup. Stacking 5, 6, 7, 8 of those, getting 16% additional damage recoup could be really good. And then, you know, if I was able to fit it in, I would sneak that on my rings. And yeah, a lot of damage recoup actually would feel really, really good. So that's probably a direction that I'm going to take this build further down the line, is get, you know, at least get to like 50% damage recoup. because that'll feel pretty incredible. That is about as thorough as I can be about the build. I talked for a really long time here. Hopefully that answers all your questions for getting the build to a very comfortable spot. Again, for me, this feels great. I could not have asked for more for my League starter. I'm probably going to put another 10, 20, maybe even 30 divines into this build and make it very comfortable for Ubers. I can do boss carries with it. Then I'll probably just start working on challenges and just having fun the rest of this league. I think this is a really good league. I hope you guys are enjoying it. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.